Well, technical difficulties aside, last night was Fight Night Auckland. Derek Lewis fought Mark Hunt. And there was a bunch of great shit on that card. We'll get to the main event after a little bit. The first thing I remember, well, there's a couple decisions on the card, but there was 4 knockouts? I think it was 4 TKOs on that card and a submission. It was a pretty fun night, actually. One dude knocked somebody out and then said it was because he wanted to. He's like, I wish my kids would go to sleep early. I don't want to wish his kids good night. I don't don't remember who it was. All I remember is they had kind of a aggressive weigh-in where they both like faced off on each other, like, yeah, what's up, man? I don't buy any of that unless it's like actually real. Like, y'all square off at the weigh-in and then you high five after the fight. I get it. You're trying to sell the card and you're like, if we weigh in and all aggressive, it's gonna build hype. I understand that, but hey man, I can see right through that shit, and so can most of other people. Yeah. The undercard was pretty fun for an undercard. I didn't see the early undercard. I spent a large amount of couple of those fights getting real baked. Just getting ludicrously stoned. So I didn't get to see all of those. Only saw it caught like the first few minutes of the first round, the last round. But still, 4 TKOs. A submission by Ben Yugian over who's that other prospect in the division? Tim Elliott. Tim Elliott taking Demetrius Mighty Mouse Johnson to a hell of a fight. Through a hell of a fight. Ben said people were sleeping on his jiu-jitsu, and clearly he was right, because, man, he subbed that guy in 20 seconds, bro. Derek Brunson, there was actually a lot of statements. Crap, I can't remember that dude's name. He fought Ross Pearson, and he made a hell of a statement. There was another guy who he was on the back foot the entire fight. There's a dude from, I forget where it's from. I think it's from Australia, I'm not sure. Or New Zealand. Yeah, I'm not sure if it was, I think he was from that region of the world, but like I said, I was smoking a lot of pot last night, and yeah. He was on the back foot, caught his opponent with an uppercut, changed momentum beautifully. That shit can happen. We'll talk about Derek Brunson versus Daniel Kelly. Derek Brunson taking it to Daniel Kelly in a matter of minutes. I thought that was going to be a hell of a lot more of a scrap. Well, I can't really say that because of the TKO, but yeah, I thought Daniel Kelly's been on a win streak recently. Derek Brunson's been on a tear recently. And we did see some fireworks for fucking sure. Yeah. There was a hell of a lot of knockouts. We'll get into the main event now, I guess, because I did try, could do a rundown of every fight, or I could just do a rundown of the shit that stands out to me. Derek Lewis versus Derek the Black Beast Lewis versus Mark the Super Samoan Hunt. Yeah, one hell of a fight. Derek Lewis started off by throwing kicks, punches, everything, including the kitchen sink at Mark Hunt. And Mark Hunt, being the veteran that he is, stayed cool, weathered the storm, and then knocked him out. Got the W. Derek Lewis kind of blew his wad early. He fucking dumped all of his energy early. They got knocked pretty good. And that can, hey man, as much as throwing 600 kicks and the kitchen sink at some guy, getting punched in the face will make you properly tired. I can tell you that one. So, yeah. Congratulations to Mark Hunt. It's great to see a fighter like Mark win a victory, and it's horrible to see a fighter like Derek Lewis. My glasses are all fucked up. Derek Lewis say that that was his last fight. He doesn't want to put his soon-to-be family through this, and you know, on a like selfish personal level, it sucks. But I've always said this: only the fighter can decide when the fighter's done fighting. Derek Lewis is the only motherfucker that knows what he's going through, so he's the only one that can make that call. Whether it be they want to fight till they're 50, or they want to fight one more fight. Or no more fights. They're done. It's their choice. Only they know. Another comment. The first fight on the undercard, not the early undercard, but just the undercard. I forget what the dude's name was, but he was fighting John Moraga. Why are we throwing dudes that have never fought in the UFC before to killers like John Moraga? Dude's never been in the UFC before. Alright, here's John Moraga. I know that John Moraga's latest performances haven't been that great. Actually, I can't recall. I just seem to recall him losing a couple, and that's why he's on the undercard. But I also recall him being in title contention not too long ago. So, why are we throwing completely uninitiated dudes to people who were on the path to being contenders, man? I don't think he fought for the title. I thought he was just making his bid for the title. And hey, making a bid for a title still way above no fights in the UFC. I've been noticing that, like, here's some dude, the last thing he fought was a punching bag, and here's Anderson the Spider Silva. Wait, why are we throwing these completely uninitiated fighters to murderers, to killers? Doesn't make any damn sense. I guess it might to the promotion, because they're kind of a trial by fire is maybe what they're doing, but it seems silly to me. Yeah. One hell of a card. 4 knockouts and a submission. There was more I don't know about the early undercard, about how the early undercard would play into the numbers, but I think there was more knockouts and subs than there was decisions in this fight. Maybe those two in the early undercard, because I didn't see them, maybe those two would sway it a little bit. I can't say on that point, but what I will say is it was a hell of a night and a hell of a watch. And, yeah, the future of the heavyweight division is being called into question because Derek Lewis is retiring, leaving the only up-and-comer in that division being Francis Ngannou. And, yeah, Mark Hunt only got optimistically 3 fights left. We got Cain Velasquez, who hasn't fought in 6 years. Well, not that long, but because his back. Hasn't fought in forever because his back. Stipe Miocic, he's the champion, and he's intending on staying champ for a while. But what happens when these guys retire? What happens when all these older fighters, who frankly they've been at it for a while, what happens when they're gone? And all the division is right now is like one guy and a bunch of older fighters. At least people on the rise. You might say, well, there's this guy who's fucking 1 and 2. No, we're talking about potential stars in the division. There's only one right now. And the rest of the division's old dudes who fucking nearly 40 years old. And they're going to be hanging up the towel soon. What the fuck is the future of the heavyweight division going to look like, man? Food for thought.